Buongiorno tutti. Welcome back to Florence. I'm hanging out on the one of the bridges over the Arno. This one is the Ponte alla Carraia. Carraia. Tough one to pronounce. Too many vowels. And behind me, of course, is the Ponte Vecchio. 2 bridges down. Beautiful bridge. One of my favorites. But today was another amazing day in Florence. The weather is starting to turn for the better. It was bright and sunny today, but interestingly enough, my activities were indoors. First off was my cooking class, and I had to do some work. The cooking class was amazing. It was a small little kitchen, a business that they started, a couple of chefs. They have a restaurant as well, but they do twice a day cooking classes and small groups. And today we learned how to make pasta, but in particular, what we call like ragu, or what do they call those things? Tortellinis. But of course they have like a bunch of names, depending on the size and the shape. But basically, I learned how to take pasta, stuff it with stuff, put it together, and then make a meal out of it. And it was amazing. It was fantastic. The only thing is most of the stuffing was cheese, but it was ricotta cheese. It wasn't that bad. You know, I'm sure a lot of people would like it. And it was kind of funny too, because I didn't want to say anything, and then eventually it just kind of came out. I mentioned, oh yeah, I'm not really big into cheese or whatever, and they asked, oh, is it an allergy? Like, should we do something? And I'm like, no, absolutely not. I want the experience, the genuine experience. And ricotta, as far as cheese is concerned, isn't really very cheesy, so it was all good. Of course, when it came time for extra cheese, I passed. But it was so fun, and we made 3 dishes with I think 6 kinds of pasta, and amazingly enough, we learned how to do tagliatelle, and I got to make a video of it when I figure out how to practice this at home, because it's so fun. It has there's a kind of a flamboyant cut and flip to it. And it's amazing. It was awesome. I loved it so much. And the recipes, this is what was so cool. The recipes are not very tough, right? They're about specific tastes as opposed to like a complex recipe, which I really like. So for example, I tend to throw a whole bunch of stuff in my sauce. And I like the combination and stuff, but I mean, realistically, what you should do is take the right stuff and make a good specific flavor to it, right? And that's what we did. And I'm just so glad I took it, because it was a great experience. I learned a lot. It was fun. I also stuffed myself there. Like you eat 3 dishes of pasta. But he also sent me home with some of the pasta that we made, which is really good, because I'm gonna cook that up the next couple of days. So it worked out amazingly. But the experience itself, again, like this whole thing was to try to do something Italian, to do something European. So yeah, I wanted to experience different cultures. I wanted to experience different things, and for me, a lot of the time, that's food, and I like it, right? But what really made me want to come to Italy was how they feel about food. We tend to like have a lot of quantity over quality, for one thing. But we even had an impromptu conversation about this in the cooking class, about like just how industrialized some of the food in North America is, versus like the hearty ingredients. And I gotta tell you, like I've mentioned this in other videos, I don't have the heartburn that I do at home. That's usually a pretty regular problem, but now I just don't have it, and I've been eating like sandwiches, roast pork, and cheese, although not much, and pizza, right? Pizza, pasta, all this kind of stuff. And you'd think that I would have gained weight and have incredible indigestion, but no, it's not. It's the opposite. I've actually lost weight. I mean, I can't know for sure, and I can't know how much because I don't have a scale, but the jacket that I zip up usually is a lot more tight going up, and it's not anymore, which is just so amazing. So, like, I'm so happy about that. And you know, it has to do with the food. I mean, part of it's, I'm sure, all of the walking that I do and everything. But the other side of it too is Italians tend to be about digestion and matching your whole courses based on digestion, right? You have the first course to complement the second, etc. And that's really what I want to learn. And I learned a little bit of that today, and I'm really, really happy about that. And I also joked, actually it was my doctor who joked that after the heart attack I should go on the Mediterranean diet and you know, eat like an Italian, and he suggested I, you know, find myself an Italian wife. Right? You know, joking of course, but I cook my own meals anyway. So the point being is that this is the place for me to experiment with the Mediterranean diet, and it's agreeing with me. I won't know whether the cholesterol levels are down and that kind of thing until I get home. I'm really excited to see the numbers because I'm sure they just probably plummeted. And I want to see how I continue this when I get home. You know, what I can do to continue the momentum and keep food enjoyable but still healthy and that. So yeah, the journey continues, and it should be a lot of fun trying. That's the other thing. And I've already joked with my niece and my sister saying, hey, I just learned how to stuff things into pasta. We should stuff things into pasta when I get home. So we're gonna do that. It's gonna be fun. I'll figure out how to make the pizza, how to stuff things into pasta, and recreate these things. The other thing I learned, incidentally, and I'm so glad I did. So Tuscany, Florence in particular, is all about the steaks, right? Which is unusual because most of Italian meals are about, well, the pasta or the pizzas, but the veggies and the courses, and you know, one flavor complementing another, as opposed to like huge amounts, big portions or whatever. But you walk around here and they're advertising these big T-bone steaks, and I thought about it, and I thought, well, if I want, you know, a Florence experience, I should try out one of these steak places. And my sister and I did try steak up the hill, and it was really, really good. But it wasn't the big T-bones that they advertise. It's not the T-bones that they put in the shop windows, you know, and to entice you. These big, thick, big as your head T-bone steaks. And I thought to myself, you know, like I'm trying not to do that, right? Like I'm trying to smaller portions, better for me, just avoid the red meats, you know, maybe little bits of red meat as opposed to big, huge, because that's what I'd have at home, right? Like I want to cook a big steak or whatever. But I found out today that you're not supposed to eat the big steak by yourself. Like that's a sharing dish, right? You're supposed to order a big steak and then get some sides, and like 4 people together eat the big steak together. I thought it was particularly funny because, not knowing, I would go to one of these steak shops, I would buy the whole big thing and sit there eating it by myself and be like, wow, that's a lot. How do these Italians eat so much steak, you know? I don't want to waste food, so I probably would have, you know, eaten the whole thing. So now I just have to find like 3 people to go out to dinner with. Anyway, I hope everyone out there is doing great. I'm doing great. I hope you're all taking care of yourself and finding a way to, go on your own little adventures. And I will say bye from Florence, and we'll have another video tomorrow. A domani. Arrivederci. Ciao.